Next, I want to share with you a story. It's a Canadian story. I'm a Canadian kid from Toronto, so I wanted to weave in a Canadian story. But it's also very relevant because this is a story about innovation, about transformation, and this is a company that is alive and well and at the heart of the Las Vegas experience. This is the story of Cirque du Soleil and how they came to be. So this story begins in a very unlikely place. It begins on the street and a man's search for his destiny. And in this case, the star, the hero of this story is this gentleman here. His name is Guy Laliberté. And Guy, at the age of 18, boarded a plane to Europe with spoons, a backpack, and an accordion. And it was in Europe that he fell in love with the traditions of circus and of street performance. When he came back to his hometown of Baie-Saint-Paul, which is in Quebec, a tiny little town in Quebec, Canada, he hung out with artists whose passion burned as bright. So acrobats, puppeteers, stilt walkers, and one of his early collaborators, Gilles Saint-Croix, check this out, walked 56 miles from Baie-Saint-Paul to Quebec City on stilts to raise money for their early circus. So it raised a whopping $30,000, which supported their first circus. Since they performed mostly in the summertime, they called themselves Cirque du Soleil, or Circus of the Sun.
We were just trying to have a job. We were on the street, and we were trying to have a job.
The first thing that Cirque did was to ask themselves two questions. Who says we need to have a dirt floor? The traditional circus had a dirt floor. And the second thing they asked was, who says we need to have stinky animals? So what they did is they completely reinvented the traditional circus. And they created something completely new called Cirque. So as you can see here, they created something new in that first summertime. And the first was a huge hit in Quebec City, but then failed. They created something called Marché Continué, which was a big hit not only in Quebec City, but also down the road in Toronto. They bet the farm a huge moment, and they went to the LA Arts Festival. It was called To Live or Die in LA.
A lot of people don't realize that when Cirque came to America, by the time we booked it, it would have been way too expensive for us to spend all the money as the festival to bring them. So the deal was it would give them the premier slot. They would front the cash to come, and then the ticket revenue would flow directly to them. And I think most people don't realize that all the money to bring it down, all that money was spent by Guy. The Guy had to commit to do that, which is fantastic, really. But with that fantastic risk has gone this sensational reward. And I don't think anyone today thinks he made the wrong decision.
No, you didn't make the wrong decision at all. So check this out. You're a young entrepreneur, Guy Laliberté. You have a small circus troupe in Quebec. And you've got an opportunity to go to the LA Arts Festival. So you pay a one-way ticket for about 100 circus performers to go to LA. One-way ticket. Talk about a bold idea. Do you think those performers gave a performance of their lifetime? Right? You bet they did. And the next day, on the Johnny Carson show, on The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson was in the audience before his infamous monologue, right? That was his ritual. He started every show through his monologue. Before he did that, he said, I just saw the most incredible show on Venice Beach last night. It's called Cirque du Soleil. You've got to go see it. And from that moment on, Cirque sold out all over the world and began what we call the global domination of the human imagination. So what they did is they totally transformed the traditional circus. So instead of a circus, they got rid of the dirt floor and they created a theater, right? They took athletes and they transformed them into artists. They created characters never seen before and wove them into this theatrical experience. They used space in a completely different way, aerial acrobatics, stuff on the ground. They used the elements of fire and water to create a unique Cirque experience. Characters like this drew you into the experience. They created something so far from the traditional circus or Barnum and Bailey. Have a look at these clips, and you'll get a taste of Cirque du Soleil, not traditional circus. Cirque du Soleil. And how successful have they been? Well, there are 8 shows running every night in Las Vegas right now. At any given time, there are 20 to 25 shows playing all over the world. The market cap of Cirque du Soleil is a little over $1.5 billion. Not bad for a little circus troupe from Bay St. Paul. They are arguably the leaders, the world leaders in live entertainment. So how have they done it? What's the secret sauce of Cirque du Soleil that we at IBM can learn from? Well, IBM friends, for me it comes down to one word: innovation. And innovation in a lot of companies is just a word plastered on a wall. It might be a value that's not lived, but at Cirque du Soleil, it's breathed through every single person. So whether you're a set designer in their elaborate sets, or whether you're a costume designer and you have to keep a bead on in O underwater, or whether you're one of the world-class athletes doing acrobatics or any kind of gymnastics or trampoline, they are world-class and they know their #1 job is innovation. They have to continually strive to do things better, differently. When Sylvie Fréchette, who you can see there in the white, she's a gold medalist in synchronized swimming. When she joined the show of O, she learned that after every show, they had a ritual. They asked themselves 3 questions. What did we do well tonight that we need to continue? What do we need to do better, differently moving forward to create an even better experience? And what risks do we have to mitigate? That's how you become world-class, my friends, is continually aiming to get better and really weaving innovation into everything you do.
I believe the mountain we want to climb is higher than what we achieve now. And higher in a sense of not what we achieve in terms of shows or success, box office success. I think it will be in how you achieve, how to deal in a very nice way, in a very good way, with the success and the power that we have today.
So what's the mark of Cirque du Soleil? Well, I think it's this, that inside of us, there's a child that wants to get out and play and emerge. And even though our sense of wonder might be stifled sometimes, our dreams stomped on from time to time, that child wants to get out and emerge and play. And that's exactly what Cirque du Soleil does, day in and day out. They allow that child to come out and play, and they help us come face to face with what it means to be human again. The incredible story of Cirque du Soleil and how they've been able to take the world by storm in an imaginative and in a creative way.